In the heart of the vast African savanna, where the sun kisses the earth with a golden glow, lived a little lion cub named Leo. Unlike the other cubs, who roared with all their might and pounced with fierce determination, Leo was, well, a bit different. He had a soft, fluffy mane that hadn't quite decided to be majestic yet, and his roar sounded more like a kitten's squeak. Leo was afraid of many things. He was afraid of the loud thunder that boomed across the plains, the dark shadows that danced at sunset, and even the tiny twitchy-nosed mice that scurried past his paws. The other cubs would often tease him. "Look at Leo, the scaredy cat lion." They'd laugh as they practiced their brave pounces. Leo would just lower his head, his ears drooping, and wish he could be as brave as them. He dreamt of being strong and fearless, just like his father Mufasa, the king of the pride. One sunny afternoon, Leo's mother Sarabi called him over. Her voice was as gentle as the savannah breeze. "Leo, my dear," she said, nuzzling his head. "Bravery isn't about not being afraid. It's about being afraid and doing what's right anyway." Leo looked up at her, his big amber eyes filled with confusion. He didn't understand. How could you be brave and scared at the same time? Sarabi smiled. "You have a brave heart, Leo. You just haven't discovered it yet." She then told him about the Whispering Waterfall, a legendary place deep in the jungle. It was said that anyone who drank from its waters would be filled with courage. Leo's eyes widened. Courage, that's what he needed. He decided right then and there he would find the Whispering Waterfall. That night, as the moon cast a silvery light over the sleeping pride, Leo quietly crept away. The jungle was a whole new world. It was much darker and louder than the open savanna. Strange hoots and whistles echoed through the trees, and glowing eyes blinked at him from the shadows. Every rustle of leaves made his heart pound like a drum. He was terrified. He wanted to turn back and run to the safety of his mother's side. But then he remembered her words. Bravery is being afraid and doing what's right anyway. He took a deep breath, puffed out his little chest, and took another step forward. He was on a mission. As he ventured deeper, he stumbled upon a baby monkey, whimpering at the bottom of a tall, slippery tree. "What's wrong?" Leo asked, his voice trembling a little. The little monkey, whose name was Kiki, pointed a tiny finger upwards. "My banana. It's stuck on that branch, and I can't reach it." Leo looked up. The branch was high, and the tree looked difficult to climb. His first instinct was to say, "I can't help, I'm too small and scared." But looking at Kiki's sad face, he felt a pang of sympathy. He remembered what he was searching for, courage. Maybe this was a test. Taking another deep breath, he dug his small claws into the bark and began to climb. It was hard work. He slipped once or twice, his heart leaping into his throat, but he kept going. Finally, he reached the branch, nudged the banana with his nose until it fell right into Kiki's waiting hands. "You did it. You're so brave." Kiki chattered happily. Leo felt a strange warmth spread through his chest. It felt ... good. Continuing his journey with Kiki now perched on his back, Leo came to a wide, rushing river. There was no bridge. On the other side, he could see a family of gazelles looking worriedly at a young fawn who had stumbled and was too scared to cross the fast-flowing water. The fawn's mother cried out, "Please, can anyone help my little one?" Leo's legs felt like jelly. The river was loud and powerful, much scarier than the thunder he feared. He couldn't possibly cross that. But then he looked at the frightened fawn, who reminded him a little of himself. He knew he had to try. He spotted a line of large, mossy stones that made a wobbly path across the river. "Stay here, Kiki," he said, and with a gulp, he took his first step onto a stone. The water rushed around his paws, trying to pull him under. He focused, one paw in front of the other, moving slowly and carefully. He reached the fawn and said in the most confident voice he could manage, "It's okay, just follow me, one stone at a time." The fawn, encouraged by Leo's calm presence, timidly followed him back across the river. The gazelle family cheered and thanked him over and over. "That was the bravest thing I've ever seen." The mother gazelle exclaimed. Leo felt that warm feeling again, only this time it was even stronger. Finally, after a long journey, Leo and Kiki heard a gentle, soothing sound. It was the sound of trickling water, like a soft song. They had found it, the Whispering Waterfall. It was beautiful. Water cascaded over glowing rocks into a crystal-clear pool below. This was it, the source of all courage. Leo leaned down, ready to take a long drink that would make him fearless forever. But just as his nose touched the water, he paused. He thought about the scary jungle, the tall tree, and the rushing river. He had been terrified, but he had faced his fears to help Kiki and the fawn. He looked at his reflection in the water. He didn't see a scared little cub anymore. He saw a lion who, despite being afraid, had climbed, crossed, and comforted. He saw a friend, he saw a hero. He looked up at Kiki, who was smiling down at him. "Aren't you going to drink?" the little monkey asked. Leo smiled back, a real, genuine smile. "I don't think I need to," he said. He realized his mother was right. The courage wasn't in the water. It had been inside him all along. He just needed to find it. The journey, the challenges, the friends he helped, that was the magic, not some waterfall. He felt a new strength inside him, a confidence he'd never known. He even let out a roar. It wasn't as loud as his father's, not yet, but it was no longer a squeak. It was the proud, strong roar of a brave little lion. Leo and Kiki journeyed back to the Pride. It was still a long walk, but this time Leo wasn't afraid of the shadows. He saw them as just a part of the night. The sounds of the jungle no longer seemed scary, but more like a beautiful song. When he arrived back at Pride Rock, the sun was just beginning to rise. His parents rushed to him, overjoyed and relieved. "Where have you been? We were so worried," his father Mufasa said, his deep voice full of concern. Leo stood tall. "I went to find the Whispering Waterfall," he announced. To get courage, the other cubs, who had gathered around, started to snicker. "Did you drink the magic water, Scaredy Cat?" one of them teased. But Leo didn't droop his head this time. He looked them straight in the eye. "No," he said calmly, "I didn't need to." He then told them all about his adventure. He told them about helping Kiki get his banana and guiding the little fawn across the river. As he spoke, his voice grew stronger and more confident. The other cubs stopped laughing. They listened, wide-eyed. They weren't seeing a scaredy cat anymore. They were seeing a hero. When he finished his story, his father Mufasa stepped forward and placed a heavy paw on his shoulder. He looked down at Leo, his eyes shining with pride. "Leo," he rumbled, his voice filled with emotion, "I have never been more proud. You have shown more courage than any lion in this pride. True courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it." From that day on, no one ever called Leo a scaredy cat again. He was known as Leo the Brave. He still got scared, sometimes everyone does. But now he knew that being scared didn't stop him from being brave. And he learned the most important lesson of all. Courage isn't something you find. It's something you build, one brave act at a time. And true bravery is found in the kindness you show to others.